Hey, brother. Nice to see you.
Good birthday party.
Yes, my daughter. Yeah. Well, it was dinner actually, and I think, a little late.
As you were going, you told me.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for remembering. I just had. Thank you. I was just going to say something. I've just gone live,
Yeah,
and I was just going to say I just had this most intense conversation with this guy about Freemasonry. And I wanted to kind of finish what I was saying on the last stream before I cut it about, I think that Freemasonry has a certain role to play, but I'm not filming you. Freemasonry has a certain role to play, but I'm not batting for Freemasonry. Let me be clear about that. I'm not batting for Freemasonry because I think that it requires deception. It requires a keeping of secrets, Freemasonry, and I'm not for secrets. And we know that at the very upper echelons they're keeping secrets. I was just saying, I was imagining the possibility that there could be some reason they do it, and you go, oh, well, now I understand why they do the lie, and that they have to let it out slowly or whatever.
A lot of their membership and their habits are secrecy and procedures. They have all sorts of strange handshakes and marches. They make leg movements, etc.
And occulted knowledge, hidden knowledge.
Yes.
And it's that hidden knowledge that
that's the whole purpose of their club.
Yeah, I will say one of the things, just like in religion, they do expect you to kind of become a better man. I don't think that it works.
They let you in if you believe in any kind of God.
Yeah, I think so. You have to believe in God, but any religion.
Any religion, yeah.
And there's Islamic Freemasonry and
you could be
African Freemasonry. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It could be the Mormons.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're included, but maybe they don't regard them as the real person.
Hello again.
He's a good man.
Thank you very much.
He has his own philosophical thinking, but he's a good person.
Thank you. It's very kind of you to say. You're very generous.
And he has the channel Trinity 4.
Trinity 4?
Which I watched.
Ah.
I've seen, he has thousands of videos up there.
Yeah.
Somebody was recommending him to be a YouTuber, but he's already a professional, established YouTuber.
I've been putting some content out. Yeah.
Humble, subtle man. Must be out there for many years.
No, I started the channel.
No, your channel's quite professional. The way
Thank you.
It's set up.
I started it just over a year ago, like May.
But you've got a lot up there for 1 year.
Yeah, because it was my intention.
Even if it was 2 years, you've got a lot of videos up there. I've seen
a lot of them are shorts, just like.
I've only watched 2 videos, but I've seen the overall general
there's
thing.
lots. Yeah. I asked my older son if he wouldn't help me clean it up because I got about 500 videos on it.
Yeah.
And I just want to get rid of some of them.
For the time.
Yeah. But I've been wanting to practice. Getting out on camera and practicing, actually talking to people.
No, what
through
you're
this
doing
medium,
is just
because I'd never done it before, so
no,
it was
good.
about.
It's almost professional, just a bit more.
Yeah, I need a microphone. I'm hoping that eventually
more tidying up and polishing up a bit.
The universe is going to give me the money for a microphone because it'd be nice to have a boom.
You'll be good as BBC then.
Thank you. Well, I mean, you know what? I call out the BBC.
You can get the microphone and all that.
Yeah.
In the power shop.
Really?
You can get a good set there.
Oh no, but for the other person to the boom for the other person, they can hear me well, but it's the people that are talking to me, they can hardly hear what they're saying.
Well, then that's it. You have to go to the high street.
But it's a journey. It's a journey from being
and then you have a little.
Yeah. Someone who was at whatever 46, 47,
or
48.
just use one of these water bottles. Just use it. Pretend. It looked good on the video.
Look, but it won't help the sound quality.
Don't put any water in there. Just so do that. And your opinion is?
There's a conversation going on here. I think we'd like to join it. Does anyone mind if I film? I've just got my YouTube channel. Yeah, you don't have to. Yeah. Why, man? It's lovely. We're all sisters and brothers. Astral thief.
More and more people like, yeah.
Surely you can literally sit everywhere on Earth to be able to see the sun. It would be daylight consistently.
It's closer than that, you can see there is.
Powerful enough to light up the entire Earth.
That's an assumption. What if it was only powerful enough to light up half of the Earth at any given time? We're not saying it's guaranteed like this, but we're saying this is how it may work. It's an option. It's like we can show it in an electrical system. We could take a small light and light a room, only half of it at a time, and as the light proceeds, it comes daylight, and as it recedes, it goes evening. That we can explain. And what we can't explain so well, actually, when we unpick the globe Earth model, is how you have these very long nights in the European summer, but if you contrast that within the southern hemisphere, you don't get anything like that. We don't see. No. Well, my whole life I believed that was all it took. But now that I think about it critically, it just doesn't stack up. I grew up in the southern hemisphere, and now I spend my nights in these long nights in the northern hemisphere. When you look at the Terminator line that NASA offers you, you do not see such vast variations in how much the evening, that late evening that you get in Europe occurs versus how it happens in the southern hemisphere. So no, when you start to critically unpick everything that, hey, I'm 50 years old, I believe this for most of my life. But when you start to unpick the things like water being level, like there being no measurable curvature over water, then you can start to say, hey, maybe it's not what we've been told, because if NASA's images are only digital compositions and not real photos, and if they didn't bother to put a moving camera on the moon back in the 1970s, they didn't put a camera on the moon to say, hey, look, there's the Earth, it's rotating in space, there's some stars around it and so on. If they couldn't bother to do that now, then why haven't they gone back in 50 years just to send a rover to sit on the moon and to film that? Because any company would pay millions to have their product advertised, because the live stream, if you think about having a live stream of a beach somewhere in the world, in Sydney, for example, right? That's what they do today. They live stream a beach in action, and people go online just to watch that beach. Well, they would do that from the moon and watch the Earth spinning from space. But they always give us excuses as to why they can't do that and why they haven't bothered to go back. Even though the technology in my hand is millions of times more powerful than the computer that the Apollo astronauts apparently went to the moon with. Now, when you look at the documentary, A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon, you'll find footage there that proves that they never got the lunar lander to work here on Earth. Would you travel 250,000 miles into space with products that haven't been proven to work here on Earth? No, my brother. You know what? We've never taken an astronaut in a spacesuit into a vacuum chamber here on Earth. You can go on YouTube or the internet and try and find that.
Based on the assumption that you believe that a vacuum chamber exists.
No, well, we can create a vacuum chamber, and when we build a vacuum chamber, we build it with 20-foot thick walls, because a vacuum is incredibly powerful. But we're meant to believe that our Earth, our thin vacuum of atmosphere and helium, is sitting against a vacuum of space. Why isn't it pulled away?
I do agree with you. There's a lot of lies by scientists. Not all of them, but there's a lot of lies. You're right. Mm-hmm. So as a human being, we have to reflect. We should not just blindfold. We've been brainwashed.
That's true.
Colleges, universities.
Brainwashed.
As a human being, that's why, as a Muslim, God gave me intellect, spiritual life. And you know the truth that we have as a Muslim is not, no one can manipulate it. But the truth that the scientists claim to have, they can manipulate it. You cannot analyze it. You have just to blind follow what the scientists said. So I agree with you. There's no things I agree with you, Lord.
Thank you.
Yeah.
As Muslim man, who's like, obviously you guys follow science. You guys like work.
No, we don't follow science.
No, you want the root of science in terms of using like scientific methods to like deduce it about God, right? So then, to deduce stuff that God has given you.
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
So like, if you guys use science, and not in the sense that what the scientists
we're talking about hardcore science, not the
science you can test.
No, science that we can.
Scientific testing.
We're not talking about science of believing that we came from the apes.
Yes.
That is not the science we believe in. It's all about the hardcore science. But now, this gentleman here and his friends, I agree with them in a lot of things they're saying. As a human beings, we need to step back and reflect.
No, yeah, that's understandable. Of course.
We live in God, by the way.
Before we agree that they lie, what's the motive for lying?
Okay, I'm going to offer you a question, my friends. If you can allow yourselves just for 5 minutes. Thank you very much for your interruption, brother. It's very helpful. But I'm going to ask you just a great question. The question is, why does it matter, and why would they lie to us? Now I'm going to ask you just for 5 minutes to imagine the possibility that they've been able to pull off this trick. The magnitude of the trick is so great, it can only be at, if you don't mind me saying, at God level of some kind of deception. It is so massive. That means if they've done that, you are, you and you and you and you are so much more important than the science that I used to believe. I was a Christian born, but atheist I became as a man up until the age of 47. My dying mother could not get me to take God. But then I found the flat earth and I realized that the truth is that this has been created for us, like the book says, like all of the books say, is that we are at the center of creation right here, and that when God created you in God's own image. So that when you look in the mirror, the man in the mirror is God's reflection, a microcosm of the Creator, not all of the Creator. But we are Allah, we are God, we are Muhammad, we are Jesus Christ. I know that's so hard, it took me a long time. Oh, my brother, it took me a long time, and I mean this with love. I mean this with love. But
You agree with him though?
no, not there, that's okay. But I say, okay, yeah, but that's
everything.
I may be still
Question though, I know we went on a mad one just now. I just want to know, what is their motive? What is their motive? Telling us the earth is round when really they know that it's flat.
Well, because, okay, well, I would suggest to you that maybe there's more land and they're hiding resources from us. That maybe that humanity could have unlimited resources, because when God created Earth perfect for mankind. So this idea that there are too many humans on Earth is a lie. This idea that mankind is destroying this planet is part of the lie. The lie is they always put it back on you, like you are the problem. You should have less children. You should not be doing certain things. You cannot have a piece of land. You have to be a slave. You have to respect the government, and you have to pay them a lot of taxes. Now, if these governments are creating wars and creating enmity between peoples, why are we responding to them? Why are we honoring them when they have given us the same thing? And by the way, the Big Bang Theory, which I used to believe in, the monkey theory that I used to believe in, they've all got the Vatican seal of approval. The Big Bang Theory was given to us by a Catholic priest, and most of us believe that we somehow, over billions of years, chemistry flew together and created this beautiful creation.
Sorry, brother.
But if you... Yes.
I do.
Yes.
Knowing that the world is flat, rather than if I thought it was...
I'm going to... My friend here asked me, what can he do if he knows that the world is flat? I offer it to you like this. If you play your football on a round pitch like that, it's going to be very difficult. But when you get told your pitch is flat, you go and play your game much clearer in heart. Then you realize that you are the center of creation. And then when you go around being a man of honor, when I discovered this information, I stopped alcohol, I stopped drugs, I stopped pornography, because well, it was part of my journey. I'll tell you what. No. I had a DMT experience. You know what the pineal gland is? The third eye. There's a third eye in the center of your brain. It's a matter of medical science. It's known as the pineal gland. Now, if you go to South America, you can do a plant medicine called ayahuasca. When you take ayahuasca, you get to speak to Mother God, to the greater creator. When people have this experience like I had 4 years ago, I went from, my brother, in 5 minutes, I went from an atheist who denied God to my dying mother. In 5 minutes, I came back at 47 years old that I believe in God because I saw God. I do.
So what is good then?
I do.
So So 1 second. So now, if all of us believe that Earth is flat,
Yes.
what is after that? What is that will explain to us what is our purpose of life. Like how do you know what is your purpose of life?
What the purpose of life? Once you know that the Earth is flat, it's like passing go on the Monopoly board. It's just the beginning. Once you start to, my name is Dave. My channel is Trinity 4. Shamsi, it's lovely to see you. Trinity 4. It's live, honey. I can't help that. It's gone already. Yeah. But it's a small channel. Don't worry.
That's good.
Shamsi, yeah.
I'm saying, look, there's many people believe in God, okay? But we have to know what is our purpose of life.
Yes.
Because there's Christians, there's Jews, Hindus, Sikh, all of them claim that their way is the correct way. So what is the criteria you're going to utilize?
Shams, you asked me this one wonderful question. Sorry.
What is your criteria to determine what is your purpose of life? Like how do you know your purpose of life, which you believe in, is the correct one, which God wants you to believe in?
Okay. Shamsi asked me this question, my purpose in life, right? And we all want to know our purpose in life. And now I'm 51 years old. I'm starting, because I've known for 4 years, I'm starting to realize my purpose in life. And which is why I'm standing here today, a brother and a brother of yours, in love, barefoot. I've got nothing to hide, but I've realized that the system wanted me to be a materialist man. It wanted me to take identity, an identity of color, an identity of race, an identity of religion, even an identity of moral standing, or whether I was middle class or working class or all of these kind of things. But when God created us equal. Equal. Allow me to finish. Allow me to finish. Because God created us as equal. Now I realize, Shamsi, my brother, that like, if I may refer to the story of Jesus Christ, because that story I was brought up with. Now I'm not saying that he was but I'm just saying that the analogy of Jesus Christ is for us to shun the money changers, to shun the government and the control systems, and to find the honor that is written upon our own hearts.
But Jesus said in the Bible, because you call Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus came, not just Jesus, Moses, Abraham, all the prophets and messengers came to teach us that's our purpose of life, to worship the Creator and to be grateful to Him. So my question was to you.
That's where we disagree.
No, but hear me out.
Okay.
My question was to you. What is your criteria to determine that your purpose of life, which you believe in, is the correct one?
Okay.
Well, I believe my purpose of life
absolutely,
is to worship
and
God. So
and I honor that.
No, so how can we establish which was the correct one?
I agree with you that my purpose is to honor God, and I, in my breath and in my life, why I purified my life so much. I don't need a book to tell me that, though. Hey, I mean,
That's my question to you. How do you know it's the correct one?
How do I know it's the correct?
For example, let me make it clear to you.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. Because maybe we're talking.
No, it's great. It's great.
For example, now if you bring a Sikh or a Hindu or a Jew or a Christian, all of them, they will say our way is the correct way. So my question, of course, when we reflect upon the creation of the Creator, without any doubt, the Creator is the most wise.
Yes.
And is the most just, without any doubt.
Yes.
Therefore, He will give us a criteria, clear-cut criteria, to determine what is the correct way that He wants us to follow. Okay. So my question to you, how do you know your one is the correct one?
Because I haven't taken it from a book written by man. I've taken it from my heart, and because my heart is of God. That my heart is, if I may say, so that
that's subjective.
Okay, well, okay, I'll accept that. I take that.
The Creator will not give us something subjective, because, for example, I will tell you, my feelings tell me the correct way to worship God is by drinking juice every day, orange juice. Okay, a person might say to smoke drugs. A person might say to bow down. How do we know what is the correct way which God wants us to follow?
Well, this is why.
Because your feeling is subjective, my feeling is subjective.
Well, this is why I think for me, and this is why it took me a long time as born up Christian, right? It took me a long time to be able to say this to myself. But if I am Jesus, if you are Muhammad, you are the Son of God, you are the direct Son of God, you are related immediately to God, so that when I represent myself, I'm representing our God. No distinction, no division, no separation, and no book, although the books, I honor the books because they have a lot of important information, allegorical information about how each of us can live our highest being, our highest potential being. But what
Dave, not ask my question, because you're saying you are Jesus, I'm Muhammad. I'm saying, how do you know your way is the correct way? It's my question to you. For example, ask me that question.
Okay.
As a Muslim, how do you know Islam is the truth? Because there's a criteria. For example, we ask.
Sorry, you just remind me of a friend.
Alright, cool. No
great here, great here. I hope you guys are enjoying this.
For example, that's the beauty of Islam. Islam, the proof that we have, called universal proof. It's not the proof that I'll come to you. I said, you know what? One day I was sleeping, I saw Prophet Muhammad in a dream, and he told me he's a true prophet, therefore believe in him. No, that is subjective to me. However, I have to establish universal proof. And how can I establish that? For example, you and I, we accept there is a creator, and there is a purpose of life. And we accept that the only one who knows our purpose of life is the Creator Himself.
Okay.
Correct?
Okay.
For example, no one knows in detail about this phone except the one who made it.
The phone, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
correct. Likewise, no one knows about
Yeah,
the creation.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
the
yeah,
Creator.
yeah.
How the Creator did it?
Yeah.
Of course, He chose people
Yeah.
amongst us human beings. But again, that's my question. I go back to the main point. Again, some people they're gonna claim to be prophets of God.
Yeah.
Some people they're gonna claim that are representing God.
Yeah.
How do we differentiate between the true one and the liars one? How do we? By prophecies. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Also, miracles they come with. Likewise, they will come with the same foundation, even though they never met each other. For example, logic dictates if I establish Prophet Muhammad to be true prophet, you have to believe what he came with. You with me?
Okay, well,
for example,
yeah, okay,
let me
okay,
clear
okay,
to you.
okay.
May Allah forbid, imagine you have a disease.
Yep.
And I establish I'm a doctor and I know your disease.
Yeah.
The next step you have to follow is to take my advice. Because you already established I'm a doctor. So if we establish Muhammad as a true prophet, logic dictate you have to believe what he came with. So my question to you, who knows the future in detail?
Well, I just want to come back to your example of the doctor. See, for me, I no longer want to use any of the doctors that are offered by the system. No, it's a great example. You know why? Because I'm trying to disengage. I used to work in the government. I'm a published author. I was in the military and stuff like that. So I've been, in fact, Prince Harry has a copy of my book, which, so I'm not like just talking stuff here. I'm a real guy, and I've been through the whole system. And I was a part of the system in a way, For sure I was. But where was I going with that? Oh my Lord. Shamsi, I've forgotten lost my thread. No, not the flat earth. I don't want to, no. I've got to make this point to you. And that is, this is what I realized with flat earth, was that, you see, when I believed in flat earth, I used to believe in people like Brian Cox and Neil deGrasse Tyson. No, I'm getting to my point. Allow me, if I may. But I used to put my faith in teachers like this young lady here. She puts her faith in those same names that I used to, and they might have been atheist people like what's his name, big atheists. I used to listen to these people and admire them and honor them even, so I used to think they were like great thinkers. That's what I did. Now, there's people in each faith, any faith, will be listening to the preachers and the teachers and the scholars of their faith, absolutely adhering to every word and every nuance of that, right? In every faith, no matter where you point, that's how it works, right? Now, what I've realized is that when I realized that science had lied to me, I also realized that the medical industry had lied to me about how nature can cure me. All right. So what I'm getting to this point because now, if I may, Shamsi, is that when I found flat Earth, I also went and bought myself a Bible for the first time in all my adult life. I went and bought a Bible and started reading that again. But then I realized I was taking somebody else's teachings over what God wrote on my own heart, on what God wrote on each of our hearts. And I realize now that I do not need an intermediary between me and God. No book, no man, no imam, no priest, no preacher, no scientist. That's where I'm at. And so all I'm doing is sharing that same message of love.
Dave, I've respect. You haven't established that God has written something in your heart. Maybe you're talking about something called al-fitra in Arabic language. There's something we call Arabic language al-fitra, which is in English natural inclination. What is natural inclination? That naturally we are born
that's all we have.
to believe in the Creator. Naturally, I don't have to go to school to know I should not get married to my mother. Naturally, I know that is incorrect.
Or hurt another man.
Naturally, you should oppress
the golden rules.
That's what gives us.
Sure.
But what I'm saying, that is the padlock. That padlock need a key to open it in detail. So that key, you know what is it? Is a revelation from the Creator, which we believe is Islam. I can establish it logically with evidences, tangible evidences, why Islam is the truth. But my question back to you, how do you know what God has given you as you claim that was from God? What is your criteria?
I come back to you because like a Jewish man and a Christian man could stand right next to you, and each of them could tell me honestly on their heart that what they've got is the truth. So as I said to my mother as a child, when I was growing up as a child, I said to my mother, if I choose this religion, I'm unchoosing everybody else. That doesn't make sense to me. How could God work that out? How could a perfect God create a system in which I have to choose this team, which means I'm not choosing that team anymore? And what I've realized is that what my government tried to make me do all my life was to choose a team. And I'm coming here to say we have got to stop choosing teams.
Oh, you did choose.
What?
You know, with the people that believe the earth is around.
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm saying no. Look, I don't have a belief. I know that water is level and flat.
Dave, 1 second.
Water is level and flat.
Dave, 1 second.
That's a fact.
You know what
That's a
people
fact.
always say? I don't follow the book. I'm not inside the box.
Yeah. If I can't test it myself.
Every person's inside the box.
Yeah.
But there's a box of falsehood and there's a box of the truth.
Yeah.
And when we Muslim, we follow the man that we can establish who's inspired by the creator of the heavens and the earth. So when we follow him, we don't care if you say we are inside the box or outside or next to it. Doesn't matter, they're just names. But we care that we have the truth. So I can establish Prophet Muhammad the true prophet, and I will call you to worship your creator, which you believe in it.
I respect that, my brother.
But I'm going to leave. I'm going to give you something to read.
One thing. One thing. You know Shakespeare? You know Shakespeare. You've heard of William's story and the front face, and there's a story behind that. And it turns out that the Bible that I grew up with has got at least 2 layers, maybe even more layers of story beneath the story, right? And this is what I think we're meant to take from these books, is allegory about who and what this creation is, and the deception. If they pulled off, think about it, Shamsi, if they pulled off the globe lie, just for 5 minutes, if they pulled off the globe lie, then they could be deceiving us about everything. But the truth is on our hearts. So take from the good words that are in the books.
Well, I would say the creator will not let us, because as I mentioned, you and I will agree that if you reflect upon the creation, you can come to the conclusion the creator is the most wise. The most wise will never let us down will never leave us without clarifying the truth to us.
But look at this enmity. Even the Shia, Sunni.
Dive him in that. One of the things that we can establish that the only solution and salvation in following Islam. The question you should ask yourself, Dave, why there is a huge war against Islam? And why?
I know why. I have an answer.
You know why? Because the truth is with us. You know what? I can establish it if you want to.
No, that may be, or it may be that they want to create an enemy, that they want another war. That the people are in, you know what? You heard the expression, order out of chaos? They like to keep people in state of chaos so that they can maintain their order over our minds.
Can I give you a book as a gift?
Yes, my brother. Of
It's
course.
a nice book. It was written
Thank you.
by my teacher. It was nice talking to you.
I've really enjoyed
We'll meet up
it.
again.
I was hoping to speak to you someday.
I'm sorry if I was rude.
Can I have a hug? Would that be okay?
You want a hug? No problem. No problem. Okay. No problem.
Have I told you
I had free hugs?
I had 3 Muslim brothers come and live with me in Cape Town in 1994. They'd gone away from the Gulf War, and they were refugees in South Africa. 3 Muslim guys, and I changed all my pots. Well, I was born in England but raised in South Africa.
South Africa.
And they were in Cape Town, and I took them in, gave them shelter. So I got no issue with my brothers from the Islamic side of the thing, you know. I think that there is a war being created in people's minds, and I'm here to try and avert that, to try and help people see past that, you know. And I just want to stand here as a brother of you.
Believe the earth's flat. That will not
Sorry.
resolve the problem why we're here, why is our purpose of life.
No, it won't resolve, but it's the starting point.
Now,
starting gun.
As a Muslim, if someone believes the earth is flat, or the earth is 2-bedroom house, or it's around, or nothing, I'm just joking, or the earth is around, that will not save him or resolve the problem, what is our purpose of life. As I've mentioned, look, all of us has a purpose of life. Let me make it, I will finish with this. When I said that we should be grateful to Creator, okay, now listen to this. If I give you £2 million as a gift, I said, Dave, I had a nice discussion with you, 2 million as a gift, as a human being, what would you say to me at least?
Thank you very much.
Of course, 2 million is a big money. You're going to remember it all the time. South Africa, you're going to buy a nice house. Okay? Now I will give you £2 million on the condition, give me your 2 eyes. Would you do that?
No.
No, go. Because you know it's 2 eyes is more worthy than £2 million.
Oh, absolutely.
So why don't you be grateful to the one who gave you 2 eyes for free?
I am immensely grateful, and I'm such a better human being now because I know this.
Listen to this one. If you want to buy a gift for your mother, would you buy a gift that you love or your mother love?
Oh, my mother.
Mother love. Likewise, you should be grateful the way the Creator wants you, not the way you want. All right.
My brother, it's been really good. I'll talk to you again.
Take care.
And I look forward to reading your book. Thank you very much, guys. It's been interesting. Good luck.
Let me give you something more.
Good luck.
As a gift.
Hey, did you have any more questions, bro?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, the motive for me is to kill your soul.
I don't know why.
To kill your soul.
Kill your soul.
You want a quick answer? That's it. Kill your soul. That you are a soul being, some light fucking being. I don't know exactly what, but you are something magnificent. And in some way, they're able to fuck our souls over for long enough. You maybe never. No. That's only the starting gun. That's only the beginning. It's about minimizing you. It's about turning you into a slave. All of us, right? No favorites. We're all in this together.
So is it like a symbolism of saying basically they're lying to us about this, they're lying to us about a million different things?
For me, the starting point is just get that in your head. My wife, for 2 years, I said, honey, you've got to know that the earth is flat. And she lay next to me and didn't want to notice. And then 2 years ago, it finally switched on. Something turned for her. And she was like, shit, I can see it now. And her life is better for it. Her soul is better for it. Well, okay, so when I was 12 years old, I told my preacher that the earth is flat according to the Bible, where I was reading a lot of Bible study. And then, of course, I went for science, actually. And then it was only 4 years ago that I came across a formula and a video called 200 Proofs the Earth's Not a Ball. And if you go and check out the video, there's at least 50, 100 of those. You go, shit, I never really thought about that.
So what, are you one of the original flat earthers then? Is that what you're saying?
I wouldn't consider myself that, but I switched onto it in 2015 when there were very few people looking at it. And I realized then, I mean, it took me a while because there were so few videos out. There was only like a handful of videos out, and it was like, and there were debunking videos. There's so many debunking videos now, and I think the first one I watched was like a debunking video. And because I was looking into conspiracies and stuff, so I got offered that as a debunking flat earth, and it made no sense to me because I watched the video and I was like, no, that doesn't make sense. So I put it aside. But a few months later, a few weeks later, I got some more, and then a few months, I'm like, fuck, are these planes doing this? If I go over my life of seeing things in the distance, over deserts and shit like that, and from the harbour where I grew up, you know, it doesn't kind of stack up, this formula of curvature. And why did I never know the formula? Why have I never had it in my head? You know, why? And you ask people, like, what's the formula? And they go, what formula? You know, and that's what I was. I was like, there's no formula. When I heard the formula, I was like, no. That's not there. You can't measure that. Curling. And we know common sense says water's level. We just try and lie to ourselves and go, no, eventually it's going to start bending. I used to say that too. I used to think that too, without really thinking about it. And when I started thinking about it, like, shit, it's fucking level, bro. From one beach to another. I can watch a 20-mile away sunset, or like the lights come on and the street lights are 20 miles on the beach. And that's meant to be under 80 foot of curvature of water.
So
it's not there.
It
doesn't make sense.
To keep our minds
in a prison mindset. Maybe there's more land, I don't know. There's certainly more power to me, you, each of us, as a consequence of knowing that we are the fucking center stage. There's no asteroids about to wipe us out. We don't need fucking Space Force. We don't need... We really, if you start to dial back, and as I have, from all the division segmentation that they've put in the system over the last 500 years or whatever, you realize that all of this stuff that we've got going on is sort of by design. The same people that are funding this war are funding that war. Both sides are being funded by the same bank. A lot, yeah.
When's the last time you flew?
2016, I just found out about the previous year, and I took a spirit level on the plane with me. I've zeroed it on the ground. It was digital spirit level, and I found that...
Spirit level on the plane?
Yeah. I put on the floor of the plane before we took off, and so that was a 0. And then it sat on the whole flight. It was 1.5 degrees nose up. And then when it came to landing, it went down to about 0.5 degree nose up. And then we started descending, right? And so we're meant to believe that magically gravity is holding that plane at 30,000 feet rather than it's being held at 30,000 feet by its up elevation. We're meant to be going down at 400 miles an hour, whatever. We're meant to be dropping a half mile every minute. You'd know that in your seat of your pants if you went down like that. We know it's going on a plane and level. When you can see a plane going across left to right, it's kind of straight. When it's coming towards you, it looks like it's coming up, but it's actually just the perspective of it rising. But we know that they're staying level.
We see planes going all over the place.
Yeah. So now if you look at those clouds over there, they appear to be dropping into the horizon, eh? They're coming down. But that's because of perspective. If you went up in a drone or a balloon to, say, 200 meters, you'd see that it was just a tabletop, an upside down tabletop. So that's flat. Everything works in strata. Like if you look at oil on water, if you go down scuba diving ever, you'll see that things are happening in strata. We know that our gases are sitting in strata above us. So everything's kind of like stable. We wouldn't be spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. You'd know it. And we'd be able to scientifically measure it. That's the bottom line. There's no science, and when you look into it a bit more deeply, you realize that the science that they were trying in the 1800s to prove it, that we were spinning, they buried it because they can't. And it was peer-reviewed shit. It wasn't like just some guy with a bloody wooden telescope.
I wish there was like a very good explanation as to why they would do this though, rather than them saying.
So you have to get past the material, science that we've been given, the idea of atoms and material and flesh and blood. When I had my DMT experience 4 years ago, I saw everything in a waveform. It's when I found God, but it's your pineal gland in the center of your head, in the center of your brain. It releases DMT. Your body creates DMT. When you die, it's your transformative experience. You go back to God. Is it like I was an atheist, right? And at 5 minutes after taking the DMT, smoking the DMT, I came back. I was like, it's real.
My uncle is an atheist too.
Right.
And we always have conversation with him. Like he's so stuck with that idea.
I was 47 years old, atheist, brother.
Like you can just look at the sky and you know the truth.
Yeah.
I know that thing. You can feel it.
So what you're saying is you had what, ayahuasca, and then after that you believe in God.
Well, because when I was there in the experience, and I did good acid and mushrooms in the 80s and 90s, so I've done good trips. This is nothing like that. This is like finding God. For me, it was like it was horrible initially. I screamed for about 30 seconds in the worst fear, and then I calmed down and I was immersed in love, total love. I was in this place of love, and I couldn't move, but I was just getting downloaded information, like all knowledge of human history, past and present, was in my head somehow. And I was told stuff. I was given information. That nothing really matters, but I guess what I wanted to tell you was that everything that I could see around me, my eyes were wide open, and everything I could see around me was returned to like a waveform, like just plants were energy. The swimming pool was just pulsing electricity. Everything, even the walls were just electric waves. And that was so transformative for me, bro. And so there's 5 minutes. I mean, my mother couldn't get me to take God. She was dying, and I wouldn't. In 2011, I wouldn't say there's a God, and no. But there, 5 minutes, and I'm like, shit, it's true. There's a God.
You had ayahuasca, you found God, and you realized the Earth was flat.
Not at the same time. About 3 weeks later, I started looking at flat Earth. So it wasn't straight. But I'd found 9/11 before that, a few months before that. So 9/11 was not the Muslims.
Say that again?
It wasn't the Muslims.
Well, 9/11.
Yeah.
Okay, see, now that makes sense as to why they would lie to us.
Yeah.
For example, if it is a lie, and say it was them.
Yeah.
The reason, the motive is we get to go over there and do whatever,
and create an enemy.
So even if I believe them, and I say no, it's not a lie, it was the Muslims. You telling me that it was a lie, I say, I understand why you're telling me it's a lie, because it gives them a motive to go over there.
A control.
Exactly. The motive makes sense, though.
Yeah, and think about
your motive of this.
No, but think. Okay, now let's use the 9/11. Okay, let's use the 9/11 example as it's really good in demonstrating a number of things. It's not just about being able to go to the Middle East and cause havoc out there, but in America they brought in the Patriot Act, which meant that they could bring in like a whole raft of draconian measures. In fact, my dad, working in Durban Harbour in South Africa, said after 9/11 they immediately changed the whole security thing, that the Americans demanded it. So across the world they were able to implement a whole lot of changes. Just for example, like the underwear bomber or the shoe bomber, all these times, every time there's a dude like that, more restrictions on you, more taxes on you. So think about it like that when they can control your mind, they can do a whole lot of stuff to us. And this is exactly what the flat earth or the ball earth or the idea that you're out in space and that you need a protector like the government to stop asteroids and shit like that. Because when you're in the flat earth, you realize there's no asteroids, there's no fucking dinosaurs to wipe out either. And that oil is an abiotic fluid that the earth creates and we will never run out of. So we should be on free energy a long time ago. Nikola Tesla was talking about it nearly 100 years ago, but they buried all of that shit because they don't want us knowing that we can have free energy. Who knows, there's enough land. They say that Texas, just the state of Texas, is so big that you could put the whole of current humanity onto Texas and everyone would have 3 acres. Just Texas. So when they talk about overpopulation and...
You believe that the earth is flat?
No. In the globe version of Texas, it's so big that you could divide it up into 3 acres and everybody on earth could have one.
Oh, really?
And that's just Texas. Let alone Africa and the rest of the world, right? So what are they doing? Lying to us. They're crowding us into cities, making us starve or making us work our backsides off 2 and 3 jobs sometimes in order to kind of keep the bills paid. Taxes continue to go up. The bills continue to go up. Housing continues to become less and less tenable. Banking becomes more and more theft. When you realize that actually when you go to the bank for a loan, they make the loan out on your back. They don't produce the money. They take the loan out on your name.
What you're saying is one of the key one of the key tools that they use to help us, to keep us in this state, is knowing that the world is
one of many mind control tools, yeah. Well, actually, that we're in the vacuum of space, rather than that we were created. World was created for you, with you at the center stage, which is why the sun follows you.
My thing is, I still don't know what I could do.
And you won't, my brother.
What could I do, knowing that the world was flat, that I cannot do now? I
just know. Well, you would probably
I can't
still.
travel the Earth now. I can't travel the Earth.
Okay.
I can't go to the
Okay. But
and
well.
if it was flat, I couldn't do the same.
Okay.
That's my whole point.
Okay. Let's just say that our role here, or our purpose here, is not to become like the next footballer, materialist kind of dude, right? But it's actually to become an inward loving, knowing thyself, kind of honorable human to the highest order that is possible. Then that for me is what realizing that this game is all about me gave me. And when I thought I was just a monkey from space and all of that stuff, I didn't care about stuff. I was hedonistic, into porn, into drugs, into a whole bunch of other stuff, right? Now I realize that, I am God, I'm the creator, and then each of us is that. And that we're meant to be having this divine experience, but we've had ourselves shot in the foot by generations gone by who didn't know they were being shot in the foot themselves. And so we have no idea of our magnificence, our magnitude, our divine essence, and divine excellence. And
what would you say to someone who is kind of like you in a similar sense?
Yeah.
They love themselves, they love people, they're all that type of stuff. Yeah. The only difference is they still believe that the Earth is round. Would you need to teach them anything?
I think so.
I mean, sense of spirituality that you have. Why would you then need to tell them that the Earth is round?
Only because I think truth matters. I think if it didn't matter, they wouldn't make up the lie.
But it mattered to you because it helped you.
No, it matters to humanity, my brother.
They put you in a certain state of mind.
Well, okay.
What if I'm already in that state of mind? Whilst believing that the Earth is round.
Let's take the example of a religion that neither of us believe in. Just to pick any religion that you don't happen to believe in. Don't you think it would matter? For me, it matters to those people to realize that there's something else that they should know, that perhaps they've been deceived somehow. That kind of matters, So if I was deceiving you about, aside from all the taxes and all the keeping people low and slaves and all that sort of stuff, the division stuff, aside from that, if I was lying to you... Okay.
I feel like you've got a message to tell
people. Yeah. In that way, like I feel almost compelled, like I never had any compulsion to do anything activist-wise or get out or tell my brother, go out and take the time. I walked into the supermarket the other day and I saw this couple in the aisle and I'm like, that young couple, they're in their early 30s and they look so sick. They look grey in the eyes and what have you. And I was compelled to catch them on the way out the store and say to them, hey, guys, there's something you need to know about yourselves because the way you're going now, you're fucking yourselves up. And this is what the system wants, is for us to fuck ourselves up with anything, whether it be our football addiction, our food addiction, our porn addiction, our drug, whatever, to lose ourselves in something, anything. They'll even make the drug illegal, but make you chase it. That's all they want you to do. Chase a false education, whatever. Live a complete lie. So there has to be a magnificent reason why. Surely. And that's where I'm at, is that, and so for me, I would want my children to know this. I would want everyone to know this with honor, with love, just because I think it's the most important thing that we're meant to know, that there is a grand deception afoot. We're all in it. But if we can learn our way through it, we have the best possible chance of achieving whatever life mission we maybe set ourselves on before we even came. And that's a possibility now for me, is that we actually set ourselves on this task to come survive through the mean streets of this game and come out the other side higher than we started. That's what I think is possibly the game. But I know that if you've had lots of teachings and you're a good soul already, then once you start to get your foot on the flat, it's like being a great footballer. If I say, all right, well, we're going to stop playing you on that round football pitch, but I'm going to put you on the flat ball. If you're already a good footballer, it's going to come easy to you. If you've already been doing all of the homework, then once you've got this down, taking the next steps in your own spiritual journey, if you're great in your yoga and your meditation or whatever your practices are, you continue those, but you continue those with the sure footing of being on a flat surface that has you at center stage, not you as some lucky strike who got through evolution. You know, because even the idea that, you know, your dad has millions, your dad has millions of sperms and so on, I think that might be bullshit too. I'm not sure about that, but I think you might be the one. You were chosen. You chose yourself. You as God, if you like, as I see it, as the Creator. You chose to come down. Whatever your name. What's your name? What's your name?
Chester.
Chester. I'm Dave. Chester, you might have come down to have exactly the experience. But if that's true, then Chester, you also probably needed to come here, and I needed to come here just to give you some information that I would hope that you would go away and do all the work for yourself, the research for yourself. Go and watch the moon rolling slowly through the sky. It's very slow, so you got to be patient. But watch the moon rolling through the sky. It's, you know, it chills water when we're told that it's reflecting. It's often in the sky in the daytime, while the sun and the sky are both in the sky, which means it can't be hidden by the earth, or the earth can't be throwing a shadow on the moon. There's so many things wrong with the model that we all believed in. So when you go back to realize that they've lied about everything, then you can kind of really find your true essence. Honestly, my wife said for 2 years it didn't matter. When she realized, it's like, shit, it matters. And you will only know that. It's like doing the DMT. No one can ever explain what the DMT is like, the pineal experience is like, until they've done it themselves. The words, we don't have the English for it. I don't have the English for it. You've got to go through these things yourself, and this is one of those things.
How did you get the DMT, by the way?
A friend of mine had lived in the Himalayas for 20 years, and I happened to be on a book tour in South Africa. I'd written a book about my army time, and he's like, Dave, have you done DMT? I'm like, I didn't even know what DMT was. And when I came, I was like, how did I not even know what the pineal gland was? You know, no, we don't get taught about this shit. I was like, every 16-year-old boy, in fact, in African cultures, a lot of African cultures, at 13, they'll take the boys off into the woods, and they'll give them the plant medicine, and they'll have this experience with the gods. And this is their ritual. This is their rite of passage into realizing who and what we really are, which is why I think most ancient African cultures are very honorable, because they know their connection to nature. And this is really what you realize. The ayahuasca that people do in South America, that's very much a 6-hour, 7-hour kind of, you know, long journey into Mother Nature. And you come back a changed man. They take hardcore drug users out of Los Angeles, 3 days or 1 weekend with the ayahuasca, and they never touch the drugs again. It's a life-changing thing.
There's a friend in the Himalayas that gave it to you.
Yes. But you can get it. I mean, there are ayahuasca retreats popping up here and there. It's not legal in this country. People go to Spain and do it. I would just say as a caution, you know, it's not a thing for fun. It's the most serious thing I ever did in my life. It was the most transformative and most important 5 minutes of my entire life.
5 minutes?
5 minutes. Because I only did the DMT, so the smoke lasts 4 to 10 minutes, something like that, depending on how good you are doing it. I smoked it through a bong, and my friend said, please do it again. And I was like, I can't do it again. I'm too frightened. I don't want to do it again. But he convinced me to do it a second time that night. It was a slightly different experience, but and I wouldn't do it again, though.
You've only done it twice.
Then I tried it again about 6 months or 9 months ago, maybe, with my wife. And she had a fucking transformative experience herself. It was her first time, but it wouldn't let me go in. Now, I think the reason for that might be because I'd had like this physical attack by someone here. And I say physical, it was more like a spiritual attack. And I think that the spirits were trying to stop me from going in, but that I might be talking shit about. Yeah. No, at Speaker's Corner. No. It was like what do they call it? I went and met him in a hotel, and in a lobby, and he did like a form of CBT, some therapy on me, where he shook my fucking arm for about an hour, and after that, it was fucked my head up. And then when I did the DMT a few months later, it kept stopping me from going. Twice I tried, and it kept stopping me from going in. So I don't know when I'll be able to do it again, if I'll be able to do it again, but hopefully it'll call to me if the time is right. It's an honorable thing, and it's like a rite of passage that I think everybody should know about and get given the opportunity to do, free of charge. We should all know that. If we knew that, humanity would stop their bickering immediately, overnight, because we would realize we are one. And that's what I got. All love, all one. Connected to the plants, animals, and every other living thing on this plane. And actually, that I realized that perhaps this pineal gland thing is almost like the Dodgem car thing, you know, where it's got like the little probe that goes up to the roof. Like you're always in contact with the roof. Yeah, and I call it the ether. Like we live in an electromagnetic soup called the ether, and I think that we're all like a little energy torus field on the plane of a torus field, an energy torus field. That's what I think. I can't prove all of that, but if you look into electromagnetism, people who don't believe in the globe, the flat Earth thing, they'll show you electromagnetism that shows that kind of system, how it works. So there's definitely ways we can show how the sun works, how the lights work, and so on. But obviously, there's no working model of the flat Earth, but neither is there a working model of the globe. So that's my thing, bro.
Thanks for chatting to me, man.
My pleasure. It's really been good, and I hope it sinks in because it looked like it.
I might do some more research.
Yeah, please do. That's all about you. It's all about you doing the research. But remember, there's so much. The first two